Hello everyone, it's Carrie at Inky Bee Journals and Ephemera. Welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time visiting my channel, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you everyone for choosing to spend a portion of your day with me. I really do appreciate it. So before I get into today's tutorial, I just want to let those of you who haven't been here before know that if you hear a whirring sound in the background of this video, I do apologise. I have got my air conditioner going in the room because it's quite cold where I live here in Australia at the moment, and it is in quite close proximity to my table, so I do apologise if you can hear that noise in the background. I do hope it's not too distracting for you. Okay, so today I thought we would do another scrap buster, and we are making easy clusters from our scraps, and you can use a variety of other things to go with it, of course. This is just an example of the stuff that I've made previously. Some of it's older than others. These sorts of long slender ones are ones that I have made more recently, and I have some more to make, so we'll make some of those. Now, for those of you who might be new to the idea of junk journaling and making ephemera and making embellishments, you might be wondering, what is a cluster? Well, basically a cluster is a group of things that are put together in a sort of layering process, and this is what you create, a cluster of things together. There is a number of ways you can put them together. You can use a staple, you can use glue, you could use double-sided tape, but it may depend on what you're putting together and what sort of glue might be best for you to use. You could use a hot glue if you wanted to. You can use a liquid glue. I would be a little bit wary as to whether a glue stick would be strong enough or not, but you can always have a go. Use what you have on hand and what you can get hold of and see how you go. If it doesn't work with the glue you have, maybe switch up the glue and see if you can find something that works better. If you are using something like lace or ribbon or material, you might find it's easier to use something that can actually hold those types of things together. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So the only thing that we're going to need in the way of tools is, well, obviously glue. I'm just going to use some of my fabric glue. I'm going to use one of these little spatulas, little craft spatulas. I will put a link to one of these in the description box below for you, and just whatever scraps you have on hand of anything and everything that you want to see if you can make a nice little cluster out of. There is no rules, there is no right and wrong way to make any of these. It's completely up to you how you put them together. So let's talk a little bit about what things you can use. I have cardstock, I have scrapbook paper, I have these top pieces here, stickers and cutout pieces, fussy cut pieces. You can use words and labels and things. You can use ribbon, lace, you can use washi tape. You can pretty much use anything. You can even put eyelets in, bits of string, decorative types of strings, and even beads and things like that. So, you know, the sky's the limit, really. So let's have a go at making some things. So we'll just move these over. I'm sorry if you do see my bandage on. I suffer from arthritis and I've had a weak wrist for many moons now, and sometimes it just gives me a bit more grief than others. So Sometimes I wear it just for a little bit of extra stability. Okay, you might find having a scrap piece of paper for a glue paper handy, and you may or may not wish to use some type of inks, but that is an optional thing. You don't have to ink anything. So I've got a few here which I have actually put together but not actually stuck them together, because I thought I could explain to you as I go how I'm actually putting them together. So these are just rough ideas of things that I've put together loosely, and we may even have a go at this one, and this is just a lace one with a bit of ribbon as well, so that's an idea also. And this is another one that I've got that we'll have a look at doing. Now we'll make a start. So basically all this is just a piece of cardstock, a little bit of a textured cardstock, and all I've done is torn around the edges roughly, and you don't have to do that. You can absolutely just leave it as a straight edge. You can have it in any shape that your heart desires. There is no rules. The next thing I've done is I've just got a few pieces of scraps to layer. So I have a little bit of torn edge book page and a little bit of torn edge, well, I think it's just a little bit of ephemera paper that I had from something else. And I just have this, and this is just a little sticker piece that we will try to get apart, hopefully. So all I'm going to use is my fabric glue to put this together. Now I might attempt to see if I can get a little bit of colour onto the edge of this. I don't know if this will work, it may not show up. This is a really new one, so I haven't even got a dauber to go with it yet, so I'm just going to go around the edge like this roughly. It's called Sage. You do not have to do this, of course. If you prefer to just leave it or do a different colour, that's entirely up to you. This is just putting something together quickly. I'm not even going to think about it too much. So we have this piece, and I'm just going to layer these pieces side by side like this, just leaving a little peak of the bright green around the edge, and then I'm going to put this sticker down on top. So that's literally all it is. So we'll get the glue, take my pin out, turn this upside down and give it just a moment to come down to the nozzle, and then I'm just going to put some glue on there, and I'm just going to hold this up to me, and I'm just going to put it down about there. Then I'm going to take this piece, and I could have put a little bit of colour around that. I might put just a little bit of colour around this one, but I might use a lighter colour and see how I go. See if this works. I haven't used these little ones much before. This is actually quite bright, but it just highlights the edges that little bit. So we can just put that down like that. I'll turn my glue up again. This is a great idea for a mass make, if you're looking for mass make ideas. I find them handy to have when I'm making a journal. And if you're not familiar with what they're really used for, well, there's no rules as to what you have to use them for. They're really just, you can use the longer type ones, like these type ones. You can use these as a page border. You can turn them sideways if you wanted to and use them as a belly band, or use them on as a belly band vertically. You can put ones like these in the bottom corner of a page, or something like this on the side of your page, and you can actually tuck something in there. So I'll give you an example of how to do those towards the end of the video. And I'm just going to stick this sticker straight down on the top here. So there we go, there's one cluster done, and this is just a simple cluster. I could dazzle it up a little bit more. I might even do that in the when I go to use it in a journal. I might put a little eyelet in somewhere. I don't know, but we'll see. So there's one. So here's another one. Now this is just a piece of leftover white cardstock, plain white cardstock, and I might these green ones aside, and I might put a little bit of blue around the edge of this, seeing as there is blue in the flowers there. Now again, you don't have to use inks around yours. It is completely a by choice thing, and you can use whatever colour your heart desires. It just highlights the edge a little bit, gives it a little bit of something something, just like that. Now I'm just going to glue this piece down. As I said, I've torn a lot of these edges. You don't have to. If you prefer straight edges or a very specific shape, then absolutely you can do that. I'm just going to glue that down there like that. And then I'm just going to glue this piece down. But because this is a light piece, I'm actually going to put a little bit of colour around that too. I'm not sure what colour. Instead of using blue, I might just use a little bit of this brown tone. So I'll put a link to the inks. Try to put a link to the inks in the description box below if you're interested. You do not have to use the same inks that I have, of course. You can use whatever brand inks you like. I have two different brands that I have been using. Okay, so that just gives that a little bit of colour there, and it's quite dark against the blue, but we're just playing around. If we don't like it, we can always change it. So now I'm just going to glue this down. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're enjoying the weather that you have in your area. We've had some lovely weather, but the last today and yesterday were both wet weather. So it's been a little bit harder for me to move my mum, or my mum's things, I should say. For those of you who aren't aware, I am a carer for my mum, and we are actually in the process of moving her from her unit to my house, and that's because her landlord has actually sold her unit, and she has to move anyway, but she needs to have a carer because she can no longer take care of herself and a house on her own. So there's our second one done. So here's another one. Now this one is a little bit different. I've already got a bit of ink around this one. This is just a piece of cardstock. This is just a scrap piece of paper, a scrap piece of scrapbook paper. I'm just going to put that there. Then there is this little bit of purple lace that is a piece that's been cut off another piece, bigger piece for whatever reason. And then this is just a little off-cut piece of fabric. So all you have to do, or all I'm doing, is just trying to remember how I had this. I think I had this to the side, that to this side, and then I had the fabric somewhat in the middle there, I think, just like that. So we'll do that. So on Wednesday, it's going to be a busy day for me because that is the day that we have the removalist coming to bring all of my mum's stuff over here. And the day before that, on the Tuesday, I will have my father coming back for a visit because he's going to be helping out. My parents are no longer married and my father lives in another state, but they are still friends and they do still care for each other. So that's good. So I'm actually just going to glue this bit of lace down there, and that's where I will use this little spatula because it will just save me putting my fingers in the glue too much. I'm just going to do a wiggle there. I'm going to place this down, and I'm going to use my little spatula to press that down. And these little spatulas, they easily clean. They don't, if they get a little bit of glue on them, it's going to come off pretty easily. You can wash them if you need to, and you can just rub your finger on them and get the glue off as well. So that's helpful. And then this little bit of fabric, I'm just going to flip it over, and I'm just going to try to put a little bit of glue on the back of here. This is where using a fabric glue or something suitable for fabric is handy. And I'm just going to place that down just like that. I'll just use my little spatula again, silicone spatula. I will try to put a link in the description box below for a couple of different glues that might be handy for you if you are looking for something to use. Okay, so here's another fabric one, but this one has a little bit of lace as well. Again, this is just a little bit of cardstock that has a bit of ink around the edge. So I'm just going to run my glue straight down the middle. I'm going to put this piece of lace down the middle. I'm going to press it down with my spatula. And it's okay if it overhangs a little bit, because there is no rules about having it level with the edges, so it can be to one side a little bit if you want to. And I'm just going to glue this little bit of fabric down as well. I have cut the fabric with a scallop pair of scissors, fabric scissors, like pinking shears, but with a scallop edge instead of a zigzag. Of course, you can just use straight edge ones if that's what you have available or prefer. Okay, so I'm just going to stick that down. Okay, so I might, if I just have a quick minute away, I'm just going to grab these scissors and sorry if I wiggled the camera then when I pulled myself towards the table, and I'm just going to cut around the top just a little bit, just to highlight that little flower there. And I'm just going to cut this end just a little bit. So there you go, and if I wanted to I could put another little thing on there, but I'm just going to leave that as it is. Now here's another one. Now this actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces to it. Now there is no rules as to how many pieces you need to have, that's completely up to you. I'm just going to use a little bit of this brown ink around the edge. This is just a bit of cardstock. Just to highlight the edge a little bit. And I'm just going to glue this piece of lace offcut straight across the middle like that. So I'm just going to apply glue across the middle. And I'm just going to glue that down. So I might have maybe one more scrap buster video coming up, and then after that we're going to look at doing another journal, a new journal, so we can have a look at making that together. So this is another piece of book page, so I'm just going to put a little bit of ink around this. I'm just going to glue the back of this book page, stick this down, then I'm going to stick this down, this cut out piece. And I know it's a cutout, not a sticker. I'm just going to stick that down like that. And then I have this little clear sticker, and I'm just going to try and get the backing off. There we go. And I'm just going to stick that down like that. So there's another cluster. Okay, here's another one. Now this one has a little bit of cardstock, scrapbook paper, lace, and another sticker that will go on there. So this already has a little bit of ink around the edge. This piece doesn't, so let's see if we can find a colour to put around here. See if we can put a bit of this around it, just to give it a little bit of something. And I'm just going to glue that down. So I'm just going to post that there. I'm going to put this piece of lace down here. So I'm just going to put a wiggle of glue just there. And I'm just going to stick. Where am I saying post? Why am I saying post? I'm not posting this, I'm sticking it. Been a long day. Okay, and now I'm just going to put this sticker piece down here. So I'll find the backing piece if I can. These can sometimes be a little bit difficult. And I'm just going to place that down there. So there's another one. So they don't look particularly flash on their own. Well, sometimes they do. It depends what you put together, but sometimes they don't need to look really bright and leery. And then I have this one. So I'm just going to glue straight down the center. And I'm going to put this bit of lace straight down there. I'm going to use my spatula just to press that down into the glue. Then I will glue this little piece down. I'll just glue it down there. And then I might put a little bit of colour around this. Okay, and I'm just going to stick this down here, right there. And then I'm just going to glue this piece down on a bit of an angle there. I know this one's not a sticker, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back. And I'm just going to glue that down. All right. So now we've got to these ones. Now, if you sew, you can absolutely put a few stitches through these. So this is just a wider piece of lace offcut that I've had. Here's another piece of lace offcut that I've had. And I'm just going to place this down on the top of there. So the easiest way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to turn this glue up. Give it a moment, and I'm just going to roughly run some glue over the solid parts, as much of the solid sort of area of the lace as I can. It can be a little bit fiddly. And I'm just going to take this piece of lace and glue that down on the top. And I'm just going to use my spatula to press those together. And then I'm going to get this piece of lace and run it through the center. There. Well, actually I might. Do I want it through the center? Yeah, I'll just put it through the center. So I think it'll be easier to put it on the lace than it will be on the ribbon, I mean, than it will be on the lace, because it's a little bit more solid. I'm just going to place that down and use my spatula to press that down. And then I'm just going to glue this flower in the middle there. So you can see a little bit of everything poking through, and it's the same with these other type ones. A little bit of everything, and it doesn't matter if you're covering up some parts. Peel this up before it sticks to my paper completely. So there you go. So I'll put, oh, we have one more to do. I nearly forgot about this one. This is just some more little off-cut pieces. So again, I'm just going to run a bit of glue across the lace, the solid parts of the lace. And glue that down. And it's always best when you're getting a glue that you try to find something, particularly when you're using lace or ribbon or fabric, that you find something that dries clear so that it doesn't look out of place later on. And a little bit of ribbon in the center. And finally, this last piece of lace. So I might just put it on like that on a bit of an angle. So I am just going to run a quick bit of glue on the top of this lace. And I'm just going to stick that down. Okay, so I'll put the pin back in my fabric glue. I will also try to link the stainless steel pins that you put in your glue bottle tops, whether it be one of these sort of nozzles or whether it be a nozzle that might say come with the art glitter glue or some other glue. Don't use regular sewing needles. As an example, they will rust, and I don't know if I hold this up on the white page, you might be able to see it. There is rust on this pin, and this actually came with the glue that I bought recently. So that's an example why you don't use pins that are not stainless steel, because they will rust in any glue that has water content in it, particularly a high water content. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can put the glue away and we can move these over, all of those away in a moment. So to give you an example of how these would be used, I'll just bring in this journal, which is just a journal that I use for example purposes while I'm on video, and I'm just going to open to whatever page. Now, if you wanted to just embellish your page with something, you can just grab your cluster and put it anywhere on the page that suits you. You can just glue the whole thing down on the back and glue it down, and you could use the rest of the space for writing or whatever. If you wanted to, you could use a paper clip and actually paper clip this to the side of your page, or the top of your page, or the bottom of your page, or into a corner or something like that. Or you could get a bigger piece and you could actually use it for a tuck like this. If you were to glue it down one side and the bottom and then glue it to your page, then you can have a tuck space like that. These sorts of ribbon, lacy type ones, you can do exactly the same thing with. You can just use it as an embellishment, or you can actually make it a functional piece that you use as a tuck spot or something like that. Now, these longer ones can be used as a page, decorative page edge like this if you glue it down. If you were to glue along one long side and the two short sides, again, you then have a tuck space. Now, if you wanted to, you could use this, if it was long enough, you could use it as a belly band, and you would be able to tuck something in under here all the way like that. Or if you wanted to, you could have a belly band, imagining that this wasn't sort of more in that direction, but you could put it this way and you could have a belly band that way. So they can be a handy thing to have, and there's absolutely no rules as to how you use them or how you put them together. They're a fun way of using up paper scraps and scraps of cardstock, and using up some ribbon scraps and some material scraps and lace scraps, and you can put stickers on them and fussy cuts and whatever else. And so there's all sorts of ones that you can make in different colours, different shapes, different sizes. So they're a lot of fun. They're a great way to use up your scraps, and I've got way too many here to put them all on the table. Or you could just keep them plain like this and not actually have a sticker on them. So that's completely up to you. You don't have to have a focal point on them, but there's all these different types that you can use, that you can make, sorry. So there you go. I hope you have a go at these. They're really quick and easy to make. They're a great mass make idea, and they're a great way to use up your scraps, and we're always trying to use up our scraps. So I will leave the video there. I will put a link in the description box below for the glue, for the stainless steel glue pins. I will put a link in the description box below for one of these little craft spatulas, and some distress inks or some type of ink that you might like to look into using. And yeah, create however you wish to create. So I will leave the video there for now. If you liked this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting the notification bell so that YouTube can send you a notification when I upload new videos for you. Until then, please stay safe out there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.